Well, speaking of being a creative and also adulting, let's talk about your new film, Delicate State, since you
Yay!
filmed this whole thing while you were actually pregnant,
I
which is
did.
like mind blowing to me.
It was, she's such a unique beast. Kind of born out of necessity, puns intended, I suppose, because I so much of how we define ourselves is via our art, our craft, our career, and facing your body, your vehicle changing so much. I was very nervous about what that was going to
Mhm.
look like and how I could continue on when we first got pregnant. We were very excited to be pregnant. We tried for a while. But yeah, I think after a number of times of bugging my husband about it, he once just kind of was like, well, just make our own movie. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's a thing. I'm going to do that. And we got a good camera and kind of looked around at what we had, which was essentially uh, us
Yeah.
at the time
Yeah.
at our location, our home, and then I started to think about what was really consuming a lot of my mind outside of my craft and my art area, and that was noticing that the civil dialogue for the country was just like spiraling out of control,
Mm.
and I kept hearing social media and mainstream media toss around this term civil war like more and more nonchalantly as if they were almost rooting for it
Mhm.
without any idea about what being in a war looks like. And for the most part I was seeing these were men saying this, and there is something about being your most vulnerable and realizing that there are currently women all over the world also in that state, having to face it in a nation torn apart by war, that I was like, let's humanize this a bit.
Mm.
This needs to be a bit of a cautionary tale, because before we rush towards some cliff because we can't bother to discuss things with people that don't agree with us on everything, then I don't know. I think at some point I just felt that responsibility and wanted to try.
Yeah.
Granted, this was 2015.
Ooh,
So I had
baby.
no idea how far we would spiral.
Yeah.
And we captured a lot of it over the course of our first pregnancy, and a little bit, a few pickups from our second pregnancy,
Nice.
and filmed all over the country, marches, protests, political conventions, a lot of stuff
Wow.
that happened. We did not go all the way through this January, but we did go through some pandemic. We did get one shot of empty shelves in grocery stores. I think that might have
Mm.
been the last shot we did for pickup, but just to hopefully, have that dual purpose of a cautionary tale, hopefully for our nation in time, as well as to empower other storytellers, because I think that the real magic in being a creative is in that ability to change hearts and minds, and
Mm.
empowering others to do that too, to get their stories out there. So I'm like, guys, if I can make this movie when I'm pregnant with two people, I
Yeah.
promise you can do it. Tell your tales, tell your stories.